Welcome. There are times in life where such psychological factors can impact how we perceive and understand things around us, such as internalization of the brain. That can occur when we are around and surrounded by those who appear more knowledgeable than us. Whether it be the way they convey their message, their tone, the language used, their voice, or just simply down to the information they hold within, which we don't know of. That can be enough for us to listen and to take it in as well. Now, in terms of the Kenny Veach mystery, it's no different, as certain individuals have popped up along the way with specific details of the case. The problem is, though, the stories don't quite add up, as other people have appeared too with differing stories. The real question is, who is right, who is wrong, and what is the aim of the individual lying? A misguided messenger or a fake imposter? You decide. What I am going to do though in this video is talk to you and share with you replies from Susan Veach and the information she knows of, which is in contrast to what Jean has said. Now, I believe we previously touched upon this back in the past in an older video. We're going to be doing something similar again. First things first, let's start off with the original comment which Jean said about Kenny Veach supposedly being found between Reno, I'm saying that wrong, but I can't remember how you're supposed to say it. Is it Reno? I don't know. And then what else is there? Silver Springs. Between those two locations, supposedly private investigator has tracked him down. Now, in this case, Jean is more of a messenger. He's passing the information on, just like how he did with the bone report and the private search and rescue team. Really, the one thing Jean has talked about based on his own experiences was the search and rescue team conducted back in 2014 and I believe 2015 as well, when Jean was a part of those. Now, with taking all that in mind, we need to see from a different perspective from Susan Veach and what she had to say about this. Now, Susan did reach out to Craig McVeigh, the commander of the search and rescue team in Las Vegas. Susan asked Craig about Jean and him being a part of the search and rescue team back in 2014. This is what Craig had to say. Susan emailed Craig saying, "Are you familiar with a Gene Lovskovsky? He has been giving information in response to the initial search for Kenny, and now he is saying Kenny is between Silver Springs and Reno." Craig replies and says, "The name doesn't ring a bell." So there are different ways you can interpret that reply from Craig. One being, oh wow, Gene doesn't exist. He's a fake. He was never a part of the search and rescue team. All this information he's providing and him saying he's got experience is probably one big lie and it should all be ignored. Well, that's one way of looking at it, maybe slightly extreme. The other perspective would be maybe Gene Lovskovsky is his YouTube username. Might not even be his real name in real life. He might have a completely different name. And that is why Craig says, doesn't ring a bell, that name. It'd be understandable. It'd be interesting to hear what Jean has to say about this and maybe clear things up. Now, we don't stop there because Susan also reached out to Kenny's nephew, Hunter Veach, in response to the private investigators supposedly cooperating with the Veach family in recent time. This is what Hunter had to say. So Susan texted, "So they are saying a private investigator found Kenny between Reno and Silver Springs. Did someone hire one?" Hunter replies, "When did an investigator fund Kenny? Is this recent? Only thing I was aware of was the search and rescue when it had began. Spoke with a gentleman named David many times, but that's about it." Susan replies, "I was hoping you'd knew. I figured family is the only one that would care enough." So after reading that, it seems quite clear, at least for certain family members of the Veach family, they're unaware that a private investigator is supposedly cooperating with them. How can a private investigator cooperate with someone if that someone is completely unaware of what's going on? It makes no sense. Unless there's some kind of communication breakdown in which certain family members may know of the investigator, but others don't. But it does seem a bit messy and it's not quite adding up, it's a bit out of place, it's not synced, you know what I'm saying? Now, it doesn't end there because I think this is tying on from previous stuff Jean has talked about in terms of the initial search and rescue report, the items they found and where they ended up. Once again, there is a differing story from what Susan has to say compared to what Jean said. Let me show you Jean's comment first, followed by Susan's response. Jean said, having been on the search and rescue team, the actual person on the team who found the cell phone located it on a rock with 63 cents in change. The cell phone battery was dead. The phone was turned over to the sheriff deputy who was handling the case. Eventually, the cell phone was turned over to the family. In addition, Jean also said the BLM enforcement officers found Kenny Veach's vehicle. They accomplished a vehicle inventory, which was turned over to the Clark County Sheriff's Department. A cooler was found, but it contained 2 beers and 2 water bottles, nothing else. The vehicle contained a plastic bag with grocery items, not identified. All this information was released to the public in 2016. This is what Susan had to say in response to Jean. First of all, Kenny's phone was never turned over to Kenny's family. Detective Santos said they have it. Kenny's truck was never inspected. His brother Ray went and got it and gave it to Vicky. I spoke to a friend whose boyfriend has been in the search and rescue for 9 years. Never heard of Jean either. It could be a YouTube name only. So after reading all of those messages, there are several differences between what Jean says and what Susan says. And we've got to look at it like this. If we take ourselves out of it and take out some of the factors out of the equation, who would you believe the most? A supposed search and rescue member who was a part of the team and the search back in 2014, looking for Kenny, finding stuff, doing reports, passing on information, hearing about it because they were there, or a Veach family related member who's also in contact with Veach family members who were cooperating with search and rescue at the time. Who do you believe, that side or that side? Well, I think once you throw in the addition of Jean either supposedly being a messenger, receiving information from other sources and other people we don't know of, so whether that's true or not, and then Jean also being, non-existent in terms of what the actual commander of the search and rescue team had to say, and even another search and rescue member, it does make you think more and lean towards that what Susan is saying is the truth and what Jean is saying is false. That's how it seems. Now, unless Jean can reply, clear things up, maybe there's a misunderstanding, something's broken down in communications along the way. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way it could really be resolved, but it's not looking too good because the more suspicion, the more unusual behaviour and contradictions and lies, the lot, it does make you start to question, was any of the information true or was it all one big lie? What I will say is though, even if it all implodes on itself and it all goes downhill, you can't take away the fact that certain things have been solved within the mystery, such as damage to the mine shaft. We figured that out in the end, and that was a success. More of a reinforcement in terms of CCTV footage and stuff there. Even the crystal skull as well, with what's developed there. So things have started moving, so it's not the end of the world. I mean, really, the only final perspective you could give, and this could be someone out there, someone could be thinking, maybe Jean is lying. He's in on it in some way, or just messing around. And maybe Susan is as well. So I don't trust Susan, I don't trust Jean. It's one big mess. I mean, someone could interpret it that way and think maybe it's done to cause as much confusion as possible, mass confusion, so it puts people off, it sends people in circles in all different directions. I'm just including that just for the sake of different perspectives. Now, if I had to give my honest opinion, I'd say at this point in time, it leans more towards Susan telling the truth. And that's partly because, you know, she's been more responsive, given a bit more information, a bit more clarity, and been a bit more consistent compared to Jean. Because Jean just pops up every once in a while. Not exactly a bad thing, because if someone just comes along every so often with valuable information, it's welcomed. But when it's drip fed and maybe when certain things don't quite add up and maybe other people have seen slight contradictions, it makes you think, what's the whole point of this, you know? So with Susan being a bit more vocal and a bit more active, and maybe certain other people within the community reaching out to her, maybe contacting her, validating stuff, correcting things, just makes it a little bit better. That improvement in communication helps. Whereas when you get other situations and encounters, a breakdown in communication, left hanging, whatever it may be, it can cause confusion and misunderstanding, and that's what it may have done in this case. At the end of the day, you can let me know what you think down below in the comment section and give your opinion. It does make you question further what's the whole aim of these people causing confusion or appearing to know it all and they don't really. What's going on there? That's the question we've got to ask at the end of the day. So yeah, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed it and understood it, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.